Today, we're going to be talking about the mystery, the $300 Big Muff. What could it be? It is the 73 Ram's Head by Vic Audio. So let's do a little bit of backstory. Why is this pedal $300 if you haven't heard of it before? Well, Michael Vick was a small pedal manufacturer, independently owned, making clones of Big Muffs. When these pedals were new, they were approximately $130 USD, but now they're going for $300. Why is that? Because he decided to stop making them. So in 2023, Michael Vick closed his doors for reasons known only to him. He decided not to be in the pedal making business anymore. So the pedals have slowly disappeared from the used market, and when they do pop up, they're worth a lot of moolah. And let's try and figure out why that is, besides the fact that they've stopped being made. Now, when it comes to the Big Muff lore, we're all familiar with the magic that got into a few of them and how we're trying to recapture that magic. But I want to set the record straight here, if you haven't heard this already, that most of the Big Muffs use the same circuit, and then throughout the years they change their parts. This we know. We can understand this. But Kit Ray, who I don't know who this is, I don't know what goes into this website, but I'm going to link it in the description here. He has mapped out both the circuit and the parts for every major Big Muff version, even within the same generation. Because not every Big Muff was the same because of the sloppy or inconsistent manufacturing, the inconsistency of parts. Multiple Big Muffs that look exactly the same on the outside could be different on the inside. So he has mapped out a lot of these different versions. So when it comes to making a reissue of a Big Muff, everybody knows, from EHX to the independent manufacturers, we know what the circuit is, we know generally which parts were used, and then it's up to the creator to pick the specific combination of parts that they think is going to work for their pedal. But on top of that, we're also talking about the pedal's construction techniques. So what we can say to try and justify this $300 price tag if you are looking for a Ram's Head clone is that this pedal has your standard volume tone sustain, but Michael Vick also incorporates a flat, stock, boost mid switch. So you can get your stock tone, you can raise the mids up a little bit and flatten out the EQ, or you can boost your mids. So I'm going to do a full demo video of this in a future video, so feel free to subscribe. We're going to have a shootout between this and an op amp and Green Russian and maybe even an Acapulco Gold, but I digress, getting too excited. So back to the pedal. It has a mid-tone switch, which I don't know if any EHX pedals have this stock, so that kind of separates it. There are modern PCB or board designs that you can get that incorporate this mid-tone switch. I've built it into a few pedals for Pedalove. Check out Pedalove pedals in the description. But the key difference when it comes to justifying the $300 price tag is not just this mid-tone switch. It's not just the fact that the LED has this cool little metal bezel to make it stand out. The magic, to me, is in the resistors and the capacitors and how he's chosen to use the old school method of connecting all of these parts. What do I mean by old school method? Why are these resistors and capacitors special? Well, here we have an EHX op amp reissue. This is standard. I haven't modified it in any way besides putting Velcro on it to make it stealthy. All right, so right away we're seeing some key differences. This 9-volt adapter on the op amp is soldered directly to the board. These input-output jacks are soldered directly to the board. Whereas here, these are standard input. I could replace these with switchcraft jacks if I wanted to. And then this is a standard 9-volt input. The wiring between each board is just standard wiring like you would find in a guitar or in other, like I said, old school pedals like Tube Screamers and original Big Muffs, even up to the NYC Big Muff of the early 2000s was constructed similarly to this. In these modern reissues, we see things like ribbon cables like this that are going into like a secondary board under here. And there's really not a ton of room in here again. So it's kind of a pain to get this board in and out and swap some of these parts. So in summary, is this pedal worth 80 and this pedal worth 300? Well, that's really up to you. But the fact of the matter is that the Big Muff circuit is replicable. There are magic combinations that people have found, and people seem to agree that this is one of them. But your ears can be the judge, so we're going to have that shootout in our next video. But for now, enjoy some knowledge, enjoy some tunes, and we'll see you next time.